folks. Lucas Ballowhead here with Coldwell Banker RMR Real Estate and the Ballowhead Group. Now, on this week's edition of Finance Fridays, Alexandra couldn't be with us, but I'll be taking you through a bit of a discussion here around what's been going on in real estate here in August and what's been happening in September. We're halfway through the month, and we've seen some changes in the amount of activity, certainly over the last 45 to 60 days. And the interest rate changes that have been announced by the Bank of Canada this last week here are going to have an impact on pricing going forward. And we want to discuss a little bit about the outlook on the market as we head into 2023, touch on what's happened here the last couple of weeks and, what you should be taking into consideration when you're either making a move or if you're looking at your financial outlook as rates go up. We've talked a little bit about trigger rates with variable mortgages recently, and we'll touch on that again or just revisit it for a moment. But so let's go through August. The month of August, we saw, there were fewer homes that came on the market. There were about 800 sales. Inventory did go down a little bit, but the average price did get a little bit of a jolt. Back up to $920, when in July we saw our first year-over-year decrease on the average pricing side for the first time in a little while. So, it did increase again, so that's a good sign. However, we've got about 200 sales so far in September. The average price is at around $960,000, which is again more than what it was in August. We are there's still lots of time for more data to come through here and see, what's going to happen to those numbers. But as every day passes, one buyer or another buyer is going to leave the market because they've made a purchase. And those were the buyers that had the bigger budgets because they had a rate hold from earlier in the year. So if you're in the market to make a purchase right now, you want to make sure you get in touch with your mortgage specialist about what you're going to be qualified for. Because the Bank of Canada announced a 75 point increase to their prime rates. They're up to 3.25% now. So that's going to get to the big banks soon. RBC's latest, change to their variable rates. They increased to 5.25% on a 5-year variable. That trigger rate we talked about, our last episode, is important about that when you're on a variable. As that mix of principal versus interest, that balance changes with the increasing rates that you have. Eventually you're only going to be paying interest on your, and that's all your payment's going to cover. And there's going to be a point in time where you may need to switch to a fixed rate so you can continue to pay your mortgage down and, or adjust your payment accordingly. So there are options. You want to make sure you're talking to your broker, your mortgage specialist, from your bank to just figure out what that trigger rate is and what your options are when you're talking about that. So, that's something to be aware of as we go forward. Now, speaking of the interest rates, they are likely going to continue to rise into 2023. December 7th is the next announcement from the Bank of Canada, and we should expect another increase. That downward pressure should continue to affect pricing as we head into the new year. And, hopefully by then, the Bank of Canada and the government is satisfied with the, with where the direction inflation is going. I know there's a lot of other factors out there that are, we can comment on that are above my pay grade, and our pay grade maybe to leave that up to the politicians to hammer out. But that's the big reason why rates are going the direction that they are right now, is to slow down inflation. So if rates hold into the spring, hopefully by the end of 2023 they'll start to come back down, and then pricing will home values will start to take off again. Maybe not necessarily to the same rate that they were, but they'll pick back up. So we'll see how that looks into 2023. So touch a little bit about recent sales in the market, or sort of the recent numbers so far in September, what August looked like, what the interest rates are likely going to do as the year comes to a close and we turn the calendar over. So last thing I want to touch on here today is just something that holds a place close to my heart anyways. Before I got into real estate, I worked in healthcare for a number of years. And we've got an opportunity to sponsor the Lake Ridge Health staff golf tournament this weekend up at Winchester Golf and Country Club. So we'll be there on Saturday. Certainly looking forward to that, getting to catch up with some old colleagues and meet some new faces as well. It'd always be a good time, and I love supporting those amazing folks over there at the Durham Regional Cancer Center at Lake Ridge Health Oshawa. So that's going to be something that's I'm looking forward to this weekend. So that's all I've got for you today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, certainly you'll find our contact information at the end of this video. And feel free to follow along and subscribe on all those channels, and leave a comment or send us a message if you have any questions. So until next time, bye for now, folks. Cheers.